Hello and welcome to part 3 of my GTA San Andreas No Major Glitches beginner's tutorial. Same as before, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, which is Los Santos and the Badlands, I would recommend checking them out purely because they're going to explain, basic principles that you might not be familiar with, and we're not going to go through them in this video because in theory you should have learned them from the previous sections. But if you're just here to learn San Fierro, then you're in the right place. Let's get started, not waste any more time. I'm going to load a different save here. Because I accidentally overwrote my last one from a couple of weeks ago when I last recorded the Badlands segment. But it's the same idea, it's the same, functionally the same. Also, my splits on the right-hand side, as you can see, rather than being specific for San Fierro, they're instead for the entire game. But it's functionally the same again. I'm just going to skip down to the San Fierro segment. Give me 1 second. Because the segment splits that I had just for San Fierro had dupes in them. And obviously we're not doing any dupes, so best to keep accurate splits that you can use. So you can learn the mission order and stuff. This first mission isn't particularly interesting. It's not particularly difficult. It's an introduction to San Fierro. Where you can, learn where everything is, the police station, the hospital, things like that. We're going to go and pick up a bunch of people for law reasons that don't really make a ton of sense. And we're just going to drive around San Fierro, basically, and in kind of a shit car. I don't like the Emperor. But yeah, so all that matters really here is your route. We can take the train tracks there to skip going around this way. And then we're going to head to the hospital, then to the police station. Then we're going to go and pick up Zero. We pick up Dwayne at some point. There's all sorts of driving going on here. But yeah, if you're familiar with this route, feel free to skip forward because there isn't really a lot to say until we get to the next mission. You can spin around in these markers if you're facing more of one direction than the other, if that makes sense. Like, even if you're like 1 degree facing the east rather than straight south, you'll get faced east rather than west, which is a little thing.
Dude, Dwayne, man, how's the hot dog business?
For some reason, some of these lines you can only skip once they've played a certain amount of dialogue as well. I don't know why. Some of them you can skip instantly, some of them you can't. It's really weird in San Andreas. Like, every cutscene is like a random variable when you can skip them or not. It's just something that you'll learn over time. Like, this one is completely different. You literally just go into it and you can skip it immediately. Whereas the other one, you had to have 1 dialogue line where he says, "How's the hot dog business?" Then you can skip it on the second line. Doesn't make any sense. Stupid mission.
45 years was because snake-headed aliens run the oil business.
I think you popped another micro dot.
Good. Keep it that way.
Maybe you can despawn traffic here by flicking up and down if you get any inconvenient spawns. Slow down a bit while going over the construction site here because you don't want to flip. If you hit it too fast, you'll flip over. And then also be careful when you're coming up this way, because there is a chance that a car can spawn on the other side like this, and if it's angry and you block it, it can actually run over Zero and kill him, and you'll fail the mission. So just keep that in mind. So if a car spawns on that other lane, like you saw that happens to me, see if they're driving like normally, and then you're fine, but try not to block them. Like, if you're unsure, just let them go past like I did. And then I went a bit wide here, you don't have to do it, but you have to be facing this way for the marker to trigger. You can't just drive straight into it. That's the first mission done. So next up is 555. This is where things get interesting. The first thing you want to do is you want to take any vehicle that isn't an emergency or like service vehicle. So police cars are a big no-no. Taxis are a big no-no because they're like a service as well. But like a Stratum, a Blister, Elegy, anything like that is fine. I don't remember if bikes work or not, so I would say don't get a bike just to be sure. It's not that much slower. If you're unsure, you can ask someone who's a bit more knowledgeable than me. But we're going to do quite a lot of like manipulation of this mission to speed it up quite considerably. This mission is very slow without this manipulation, so I'd recommend learning it. And it's not too difficult to do. So we're going to hit this marker. We're going to spawn back in again after skipping this cutscene. Then we're going to push these 2 valets right to the back wall. Don't hit them too hard, because you'll run them over and, like, fail the mission. But you just want to, like, shove them like this into the back wall. Then park your car here at the valet place, and then go and take out the ZR guy. Sometimes you can get stuck because of, like, ped traffic and stuff. This time he didn't, so I'm chasing after him. Usually you don't have to. But you can just shotgun him. Should die. Go, grab his clothes. Try not to get a wanted level, because if you get a wanted level when you go into the garage, you'll fail the mission immediately, because this mission is really stupid and has like a million different ways to fail the mission. Yeah, and then when we walk into this marker, we're going to be deliberately looking at this intersection here. And the reason why is because the DA's car that you need to get is actually dedicated to spawn where you're not looking. So there's 2 different places that you can get it to spawn. You can get it to spawn at this intersection, which is in theory the fastest way, or you can get it at the southwestern intersection. But it's a little complicated, but basically the idea is that this intersection is the fastest one, so you want to be looking at the southwest section, but only if everything goes perfectly, because it can get stuck on traffic light cycles. So even the mission that we just did before, it depends how fast you were going. And 9 times out of 10, the southwestern one makes more sense for a beginner. Even though it's a few seconds slower, it's still way faster than usual, and you won't get memed by the traffic light cycles. Whereas if you try and go for the fastest strat here, and you look this way, and he doesn't spawn, then you're waiting for ages. But as you see, he spawns in really quickly. Usually there's like 3 or 4 cars that come first, or something stupid like that. But he just comes in right away, and all you got to do is wait for that red light. It doesn't take nearly as much time. So yeah, once you've grabbed the DA's car, we're going to take it back to the garage. This is all normal. It's the same route that we did before, just driving back to the garage. You can smash it up here. It will be repaired once you go into the garage, so don't worry about crashing. You only need to worry about crashing on the way back. And also, this marker, you can trigger it like anywhere, even from like mid-air. It's like a, I assume it's a 2D marker, which doesn't check your like verticality. So you can drive straight over here, and as long as you hit the marker, you're fine. Even in mid-air, you'll just stop in your tracks. So once you come out, now you need to worry about not crashing it. If you crash it early, you can just take it back to the garage and you will repair it and have enough time. But just bear in mind, because you only have a minute and a half, it's not a lot of time to get back, especially if you have to backtrack to the garage again. So what I recommend doing is while you have time, you can despawn, because there, even if a car spawned in front of me, it wouldn't be a threat. And also look out for the red lights. If there are red lights, these guys are not going to turn in front of you, so you're free to just drive forward. But if they're a green light, like this one, there's a chance that a car could be pulling ahead of you. So just be wary. If it's a red light, you're fine. You can just drive. It's not a problem. Try not to run over pedestrians, because they can damage your car. And they also can give you a wanted level, which again is really bad. We don't want that. But once you parked it in its spot, we're just going to go and run up to the marker, and that's mission passed. If you're able to get this mission down with the manipulation, you'll save a lot of time, so good job. And it's not easy to do consistently because of all the different factors and all the million different ways you can fail the mission.
Hello? This weed tip? I seen something highly suspicious you should come check out.
Police, don't move! Get out of the car with your hands in the air! Do you know who you're fucking with here? I'll have your badge, you moron! Shut up! You find anything back there?
Found anything? He's got half of Mexico in here. Must be 2 tons of Mary here.
What? But I've never seen... How could it be? Hell of a defense you got there, buddy!
So once you pass the mission, try and grab any car you can. If you get a locked car here or one that you can't enter, it's not a bug, don't worry about it. It just means that it's trying to drive into the valet place, like it's scripted to do so. So it'll basically just mean that you can't access it. But as I say, it's not a bug. It's just as simple as you can't access it because it's going into the valet place. So just grab another car. Anything will do. You're not particularly going far. And then we're going to be grabbing new vehicles and stuff later on anyway for the longer drives. So Fortune is fine. Any mid-tier car is fine. San Fierro has pretty good spawns, so you shouldn't struggle to find one. Answer a call here. In No Major Glitches, call management doesn't matter too much, so you can answer calls pretty much whenever is convenient for you. You just need to make sure that you take Woozy's call, which obviously, you know, unlocks his missions at some point, because, you know, we need to do his missions, so we need to take his call at some point. So here, we're going to shoot one rocket here to blow up these portables. Don't use all your rockets, because we're going to need them later on. And then we're going to grab the cement truck. We're going to drive into this one, and this one. And then we're going to get out and grab our rifle that we got during the Badlands segment and shoot these barrels. Watch out for this guy. He can run you over. He's pretty annoying. You can kill him if you want to be safe. Just like headshot him with a pistol so he doesn't come after you. Now we're going to do a cool little trick. It's pretty easy to do, so I'd recommend learning it even if you're a beginner. Watch for these guys throwing you out. We're going to park our cement truck in the right place where it's supposed to be already ahead of time. We need to park it basically like in front of the pit here so we can trigger it later on. And then we're going to grab these satchels and we're going to look so our hand is basically right in the middle of it like this. We're going to throw 3 satchels. We're going to take a step back and then we're going to launch the porta potty into it with the satchel charges. Then we just get in the cement truck and that's mission passed. It's a really cool strat that was found by Patrick like 7 years ago now. But yeah, it saves you driving it and trying to push it in with like the cement truck or the bulldozer or anything. Yeah, really cool strat. And really easy to do. So just throw 3 satchels right in the middle of the porta potty and you'll get it every time. The only thing you need to watch out for is don't park the cement truck too far to the right, because then the thing can bounce off the cement truck as you launch it. So just keep that in mind. So next up is photo opportunity. We want to make sure we have a really specific time of day here. And that's because we're going to need a golf caddy, which sounds weird, I know. But we're going to need a golf caddy after this mission for reasons I'll get to later. So you want to make sure that when you finish photo opportunity is like a 6 or 7 minute mission. You want to make sure that it's going to be after 6 a.m. and before I think 10 p.m. something like that. So I've saved until 6 a.m. so I know that it's going to be after 6 a.m. And earlier than 10 p.m. for the caddy to spawn. If you're unsure, just save until around 6 a.m. or as close as possible. But like midnight would even work, because then by the time you've done the mission, you're going to be after 6 a.m. It doesn't really matter. It takes like 3 seconds to save the game if you're unsure. So I would recommend just setting the time to early morning, around 6 or 7 a.m. And then you'll know that you'll be in time, unless you somehow spend 20 minutes doing this mission, which in that case, I guess just save the game again if you ever get to that point. But yeah, we're taking a little weird route here. That's because we want to grab a boat here. It's much more convenient. There is a route that you can do where you grab a cop car and you drive and do like some sick parkour. But we're not going to be doing that right now. And we're also going to, rather than taking the boat right away, we're going to swim. And that's because for a later mission, Amphibious Assault, we need to get 2 lung capacity upgrades in order to start the mission. Otherwise, without it, we can't start the mission. So we need to swim at some point, and now is just a convenient time because we're in the water, right? Makes sense. The way swimming works is it's entirely based on how long you're underwater. So there's things that are really important to keep in mind. Number 1, don't swim unless you're swimming down to then float up to the surface like this. You can use your health as a resource. Even when you run out of breath, it'll just drain your health meter instead. We're going to be saving later on for the sake of getting health. And we're going to be death warping soon anyway. So don't worry about your health. You're not going to need it for this mission. The important thing is that we just stay underwater and dive. If you swim about underwater, you'll lose your breath a lot more quickly compared to if you're just like floating, right? And the important thing is to spend as much time in underwater as possible to get the lung capacity upgrade. So that's why I'm saying to you it makes sense to not swim, because you'll just lose more breath and you'll die quickly. So what you can do is if you're out of breath and you're worried about your health, you can take the boat a bit further and you'll regenerate your breath meter, and then we can just once again chill here. So in terms of how much you need to swim, it's kind of depends. Obviously, if you're like a world record contender, you don't want to be swimming right now because technically you're losing time. And there's going to be a mission later on, Snail Trail, where you can swim without losing time. But the problem is that if you spend too much time swimming during Snail Trail, then you will fail the mission. So you can technically fail. Whereas here, we have infinite time to get to Caesar. So what I would recommend is, you saw I got that one capacity upgrade there? I would recommend getting that lung capacity upgrade and then doing one more full breath bar. It's technically a little bit inefficient compared to what you'll see people doing at the top of the leaderboards. But as I say, it means that we have more time to not fail Snail Trail later on. So yeah, I'm just chilling here. I'm going to do one more breath bar. And it's also worth noting that the way your breath works is any progress that you have towards the next level is reset if you change your game instance. So let's say that you saved the game, you're practicing, and then you want to quit the game, come back later and load your save. If you were 90% of the way to the next lung capacity upgrade, you will reset to 0% of the way back. So if you're ever wondering why it's taking forever to get lung capacity, that might be why. It might be that you've reset your game instance and you've lost all of your progress towards that level. Whereas now I'm going to be doing this in one sitting for the sake of recording. So I'm going to keep that, let's say I'm 25% to level 2 right now, because we did that extra breath bar. I'm going to keep that 25% until I quit the game. Or I increase it or decrease it, you know. So here you can ramp off here. Just be careful that you don't run over Caesar over there. If you do the angle that I did, you'll be fine. For some reason, if you press F to get in this car really far away, Caesar gets in this seat instead of the passenger seat, which is a little bit faster. I don't know why that happens, but that's just like a little minor optimization you can do. But yeah, swimming is the most important part. This drive is really annoying. The Savannah sucks to drive. It's really slow for what it is, and also it has fucking input delay. I swear down, this car is garbage. So just be careful that you don't flip it, because obviously if you do, you'll be in the middle of Badlands with absolutely nowhere to go. And your only choice is to load the save and lose your trip skip, or drive all the way back with a shitty Badlands vehicle. So it's really not ideal. It's a big time loss if you flip here, so just be careful. There is a jump that you can do off into Truth's farm, which will save a bit of time, but again, if you mess it up, you'll flip and be really sad. So I'm not going to show you how to do it in this. You can look up tutorials if you want to learn how to do it, but for the sake of this beginner's guide, we're just going to be going nice and slow down, because ultimately doing every mission without failing it is what you want as a beginner, rather than trying to do risky strats for a very minimal time gain. So instead, we're just going to slowly head down this ramp. Again, just be careful that you don't flip, because they are a bit treacherous, these tiny little bits. We're going to go here, break through the fence, and then we're just going to basically do you're going to San Fierro route, but we're going to be going to Angel Pine instead of up north to San Fierro. So we're cutting this way. And instead of heading up that way, we're going to be heading across the bridge and down into Angel Pine. Again, be careful on the bridges too, because there can be a lot of wide vehicles like the tankers and stuff that can spawn in front of you. But aside from that, once you're here, you should be pretty much good to go. You're driving on nice, clean roads now. You can despawn if you want to, but the roads are so wide that you shouldn't really need to. We're going to cut down here. Again, be careful that you don't just go flying off, because you'll flip. And then we're going to cut just through the middle of Angel Pine here. Hit the marker. Hop out, and then just run and take some pictures, and this is the easy part of the mission. The only thing to note about taking these pictures is that you need to make sure that you are zoomed in enough, because if you photograph Ryder from here, it won't count. So you need to make sure that you zoom in and take a proper picture for it to count. I failed this mission before in runs, 2 hours in, because I just forgot to zoom in, and by the time I realized it was too late, Ryder was walking over here. So you take the picture of Ryder, T-Bone spawns here. You have to wait for them to get out, and it prompts you to photograph. Then there's Mike Torino, who comes in here.
What now? Is that it?
Don't know why there's this weird chain in front, but photograph anyway. And then Jizzy's gonna come here.
There's more than a few thugs pushing product. It's a serious organization.
Go. Me. Photograph him. That's mission done.
How many of these clowns are there?
Ah, I know a pimp when I see one. They being clever about this. It ain't no exchange of nothing incriminating. That was some heavy shit.
We better split up and get out of here. I'll meet you back at the garage, eh?
Coolio, we got what we came for anyway.
So, as a final fuck you at the end of that mission, Caesar leaves you in the middle of Angel Pine, even though you have nothing to do here except go and take missions at San Fierro. So we're going to run right here, and there's going to be a very convenient Sanchez spawn that you can take. You can also take a phone call here, should come in any second. Actually, I already took that phone call because I was messing about, talking about the time of day. But you should get a phone call there if you're not fucking about with the time of day like I was. And you can answer it there just before you get on the bike. But either way, we need to head back all the way to San Fierro. And the reason why I prompted you to get the correct time of day for a golf caddy is because the golf caddy is a sexy vehicle in this game, okay? And all of the stuff, like the haircut that we did all the way back in the second mission, all the way back at the start of LS, and the sexy vehicle that we're about to choose, is all to be able to date Katie, who is one of the girlfriends that you can date in this game. And the reason why is because she has a ton of benefits. It's a very small detour in order to get her, and her benefits are immense. So the biggest benefit is that you can die from now on once you start dating Katie for the rest of the game, and you don't lose your weapons. So not only is it big in terms of, like, you know, what am I trying to say? Like, not only is it big in terms of, oh, like, I can make mistakes and not get massively punished, but also it means that we can death warp all around for the rest of the game. There's a number of other benefits that you'll see later in San Fierro. Like, instead of spawning at the hospital, you can spawn at her house instead, which is really convenient for some death warps. But yeah, the important part is that we can't date her right now because we need a sexy vehicle to be sexy enough. If we come here and we look down and spawn one in, we can actually spawn in a caddy. Just make sure you don't damage it by crashing it into anything, like the bike or whatever. Park it nearby and go up to Katie. And all things going well, she should say, would you want to go on a date?
Hey, I'm Katie.
Press Y. Now we're officially dating her. Perfect. Get back on your bike. And now she is going to be your girlfriend for the rest of the game. And you get all the benefits that we just discussed. So, let's make use of those benefits immediately, shall we? We're going to go and store this bike, because we're going to need it for later. And then we're going to do the Jizzy cutscene mission, which is right here, where you get introduced to go and start working for Jizzy. And then we need to go all the way to the other side of the map. Luckily, we can die, and we'll spawn right at Katie's house. And she lives right next door to the Pleasure Dome, which is where we need to be going. So, it's perfect. So we're going to go ahead and start Jizzy. That's that. Now we need to go to Jizzy's club. So here, you can use 2 satchels to blow yourself up depending on your health total. But you can also use a car to save a bit of ammo. So you can set the car on fire like this and die. And as you die, I want you to play that replay that we made at the end of Badlands, just like this. And that is going to spawn a bunch of great cars. Hopefully. It doesn't always do it. But it will spawn a nice sexy car that you can use. The blade is ideal. The blade is fine. Buffalo is ideal is what I meant to say. But you'll get like Buffaloes, LGs, ZRs, that kind of thing. And those are really good because you spawn right next to the mission where we're going. And you also get a convenient fast vehicle every single time that we teleport here. So that's really good. So we're going to slip down to the Pleasure Cub. This car that we get right now doesn't really matter too much because we're going to be switching cars right here anyway. So don't worry if you got a kind of shit car. It doesn't really matter. Or if you forgot to play the replay, it's not a big deal. But later on, we're going to be using that, and we're going to be like doing cross-map drives and stuff, so... You want a decently fast car there, you'll save a lot of time over getting, like, you know, a taxi or something. Right. So this mission is probably the worst mission in San Fierro, in my opinion. It's garbage. It's like 5 minutes of driving around in a really slow car all the way around the map, and then one, you know, interesting bit of gameplay right at the end. But, you know, by that point, we're already bored out of our skulls trying to do this mission, so... Yeah. This route that I'm doing here from the Pleasure Dome back towards, like, the center of San Fierro is something that you'll do good to learn because you do it in so many different missions. So, yeah, keep this in mind Very important. And also cutting through the construction site, you do that a lot as well. So we drop off this lady. Now we need to go and deal with a pimp.
Hey, Jizzy, it's Carl. I just dropped...
For some reason there, you can only skip that cutscene once he says, I've just dropped off, like halfway through the line. Again, I have absolutely no idea why. It makes no sense, but it's San Andreas for you. Here, we're going to cut across the construction site. Same thing, just slow down a bit, take your foot off the accelerator. Just so you don't flip over, because if you lose this vehicle, you'll fail the mission, and it's a really long and annoying mission to fail. Cut through the little, what is this, like a park or a baseball field or something? I don't know. Cut through whatever it is. And then we're going to go and deal with the pimp. Be careful with dealing with the pimp, because you can run him over, but you can also run the girl over, because he's like circling her. I swear they did that on purpose, to make it like more annoying. And if you run the girl over, you fail the mission. So what I'd recommend doing is just slowing down and drive-bying like that. It's way safer, in my opinion. You can line up a proper shot, rather than just trying to run him down and potentially, you know, making a split-second decision and losing 3 minutes. It's better this way. So here we're going to cut down the freeway into oncoming traffic, so just be careful, you can crash. And then we're going to head down here. Excuse me, officer. And then we're going to go this way and cut underneath, because she's actually underneath the bridge. Here, if you're an absolute legend, you can just slide in and push this car and knock the other guy over, because this lady can't be hit because she's on the ground already. But if you didn't miss like I did, you can just kill one guy and then shoot the other dude. Now we're heading back towards the north. Our objective will come up in a second. There you go. But you can drive north in the meantime, because we know where we're going. And then we're just going to cut through. Instead of heading back on the highway, we're just going to cut across the train tracks. Back onto the street here. And then this is the final bit of driving that we're going to do. That lady was not in my way at all, but deliberately made a choice to get herself killed. Good job, lady. Classic Saints Row insurance fraud in San Andreas. Yeah, so this is where you need to be a little bit quick, so just keep this in mind. We're going to hit this next section, and then we're going to have to kill a very beefy limo and a bunch of his guards. So there's a number of ways you can do it. You can do it with like rocket launchers, but I'd rather use those rockets later on. So instead, I'd recommend watching this before you do it. Like, don't try and do this at the same time. What I would recommend doing is heading straight down past them. Don't shoot them, because you'll aggro them, and that will make them drive away really quick. Park down here at this intersection, pull your SMG out, and just shoot the driver. It's not the easiest shot in the world, but you should be able to do it if you're quick enough. And you shoot the driver, then you can shoot the guy in the back, shoot the two dudes here, and then you're good. That's everything killed. And then we get back in the Pimpmobile, and that's mission done. So now I've got 3 stars, and we need to death warp again. So I'm going to throw 2 satchels at this car, blow it up, I'm going to die, and we're going to respawn back at Katie's house. I'm going to play the replay again, because I want to get a fast car. So we lose our wanted level, we spawn back at Katie's place, hopefully get a decent car. That ZR is ideal. We could have answered that call there, it doesn't really matter, it's the woozy call, but we can just answer it before we go to the next section. I was going to drive to, what's it called there, Jizzy's Club again, out of habit. Don't do that, we're going to Woozy. That is my bad. So yeah, so for Woozy, we want to take this route here, and then we're going to cut through an alleyway just up here, which takes us right towards this place. Again, with the Badlands stuff, as I said, if you don't have Woozy's call right now and you're unsure on where to go, you can just get out. This guy's going to be a pain in my ass, but I'll try and lose him. Of course, he perfectly follows me up here. Yeah, you can take the call ahead of time, but I know where I'm going without the call, so I'm just going to drive there. It's completely up to you. Obviously, if you answer the call, you'll have his marker and you'll know exactly where you're going. But his place is right here. Answer the call. Perfect. And then we'll start the next mission. It's good to have a fast car here, because we're going to need that any car. And obviously, it makes sense to grab a fast car that we've got right here to take Woozy with us. So this mission is why we wanted the rocket launcher, because we can trivialize this whole thing. Is this guy coming after me again? Did I just bunk the same guy and now he's sharking after me again? Brilliant. Anyway. So here, we don't have to wait for Woozy to know where to go. We can just run straight to the place. It's very important here that on this cutscene, you don't mash the skip button because it'll extend the cutscene. I don't know why. So I'm going to skip. I'm going to let go of everything. And then you see it loaded in really quick. These guys you don't have to kill. You can just run past them. Same with the guys on the bikes. If you want to be safe, you can kill them. But I'm going to go rocket here, here, here. Wait a few seconds. Here. Then the car. And that will kill everyone. You can grab an SMG while we're waiting for the next, like, section. But yeah, that is, like, the really quick way to do that mission. And it's not that difficult. As you see, I took basically no damage. So I'd recommend drilling it a few times. But if you want to be safe, you can just kill everyone. It's completely up to you. You know, as I say, the important thing is getting through the missions without failing them. Here, you want to blow up these cars. Just be careful. You don't want to be too near the explosions. This car does have a lot of health, so you can survive 1 or 2 explosions. But again, it's better to not risk it, because if you blow up now, right at the end of the mission, that's 3 minutes gone. It's not worth it when you could just spend a second to chill.
Okay, let's get back to my place.
So, Woozy goes in, that's mission passed. Then we're going to start the next mission right here again, and we're going to take this Sentinel with us. It's a convenient, fast car. Your car doesn't matter, so if you get something really fast, you can take it. But for the sake of, you know, being consistent, I'm just going to take the Sentinel. That LG or Sultan would have likely been better. There was a bike there as well, but let's just take the Sentinel. Who cares? So here we're going to be driving all the way to the airport. It's quite a long drive. There isn't really too much to it. All I'm going to say is we'll cut through the construction site again. Slow down so you don't flip, because it's a bit bumpy. And then we're going to cut through the train tracks a bit later on as well. But again, here, if you're familiar with driving around in this game and where to go, feel free to skip ahead. This mission is basically just drive to the airport, get a shit car, and drive it all the way back. So feel free to skip the whole thing if you're not particularly interested. So this mission is not interesting in the slightest. Taking it slow there because I was taking a sip of my hot chocolate. Love a good hot chocolate, man. So we're headed into the back. We're not actually going into the airport itself. We're just going into the parking lot, so we're going around this way.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
The car is on the left here. As soon as you get in, you're going to trigger a lot of guys to be angry at you and try and trap you in, but you can just drive right past them. And, you know, assuming that you don't flip the car or anything, you'll be completely safe. The only issue is it's a slow and shit car. So now we've got to drive it all the way back to the garage, which is... We need to drive all the way out the airport, then all the way around to the northwestern side of San Fierro. So we're basically like driving all the way across the city, which is really slow and really fucking annoying. I don't know why they put this mission in the game. It's crap. Like, this game isn't long enough already, you know? Yeah, once you get out here, there'll also be bikes chasing you. Again, you can, like, try and lose them if you want, but it's very unlikely that they're going to do any significant amount of damage. The important thing is just don't flip, because then you'll lose 4 minutes. Gonna be a guy in like a Walton or something that comes at you here, but again, no threat as long as you dodge him. I think it's a Bobcat actually, or a Saddler. I don't know. So many cars in this game. So here we want to die again, so just one satchel will do it. I'll play the replay, and now we're going to be going and doing a T-Bone Mendez at the Pleasure Dome. ZR is perfect. Love a good ZR. It's a great vehicle to get. Gonna hop down here again. Convenient way to the pleasure domes. Just make sure you don't flip, go too fast. And here it's more important, as I say, to get a good car because we're going to be taking it all the way to our destination. So. This is the exact same route that we took in Jizzy. We just need to go back to Central San Fierro, so we're going to take a right here. I keep crashing into so many people. I am so sorry to all these pedestrians that I keep in... Well, not pedestrians. NPCs that I keep inconveniencing. Yeah, we're heading east, and then we're going to cut around the little... whatever this is, like the little green over here. Cut through this bit, nice little corner cut, then just head straight south. But instead of going towards the construction site, we're going a little bit more east. So here there is like a set of bikes, and once we get into a certain radius, we're going to trigger the next section. But the issue is that those bikes kind of drive around like aimlessly, and it's really annoying to have to chase them down. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and kill them ahead of time instead. So I'm going to hop onto this. You can send the car off, doesn't matter. And I'm going to get my rifle, and we're going to kill them ahead of time. So this is really particular. You need to hit their head. If you hit them anywhere else, you will trigger the next section without killing them. And if you crouch like this, which you think might be better because it makes you more accurate, it's really difficult with this like a weird grid aiming to compensate and get good headshots. And if you try and use WASD, you just roll. So what I'd instead recommend is standing and then get sort of close to where you think the head's going to be, and then make micro adjustments with WASD. That should be good. Perfect. You see it didn't trigger. That should be good. Number 2, for some reason it triggered. That happens sometimes. I don't know why. I might have been too close, but this is good because I can show you what happens if you do accidentally trigger. This guy comes right towards you, so you don't lose any real time. You just grab his thing. I missed it. I was like a frame off getting it. But yeah, then the other guy will drive in a very particular way, which is on your route anyway, so it doesn't make a big amount of difference. But ideally, you get the 3 headshots there. I say that, and then this guy is just driving in a complete fucking weird direction. He's usually on your route, I promise you. What I'll do is we'll finish up this mission, then I'll quickly show you, you know, what it's like to do it properly. Because you want to be able to like learn the route and stuff, assuming that you get it correct. There we go. Yeah, so either way, once you got all the packages, just head onto the northern road and go back to the Pleasure Dome. So once you've grabbed all, once you've hit all 3 headshots, you can either get off and get on the final bike and then grab them all, or you can drive on the same bike as I did and grab them all that way. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, the important part is that this guy will be driving away from you on the path, as you can see, and then you can just grab it on the way, and then just drive back to the Pleasure Domes this way. So we cut back through the green like we always do. Head straight west. West, west, west. And then cut through the trees here. And that is how the mission should go. If you don't beef the headshots like I do sometimes. It happens. I'm blind, okay? Leave me alone. Head straight into the next marker. I'm going to use the bike, but we're going to use it right now. I'm going to get in the car to trigger the next section. Then we're going to head out. We don't even need T-Bone with us. We can just take this bike and head straight to our destination that we need to go. Usually you would go to a bunch of different places, like you'd go to like the docks, the construction site, a bunch of other stuff. But we know, because we've played this game before, that Mike Torino, who is our target, is in the airport. So we could just go straight to the airport, drive all the way around the eastern side like this, and it'll just trigger without T-Bone being with us or needing to go to any other section. So there's a number of ways to complete the next section. The one that I'm going to show you is the second fastest route to my knowledge. There is a faster one, which involves taking the helicopter and pay and spraying it, which you might think, how on earth do you fly a helicopter into a pay and spray? It is possible, it's just very tricky, and I wouldn't recommend it to beginners, and it doesn't save that much time. So I'm going to show you the next best thing, which is once we get the limo, instead of taking it to the pay and spray like the game intends, we're going to grab 2 bribe stars on the way back to the Pleasure Dome, and then we'll just basically get rid of our wanted level 0 time. So here, as you can see, the next section is triggered. Here, there's 3 different places where the thing can be. So what I do is I head right, and I got the good pattern here. If the signal goes lower, then you know that he's left, and just drive towards the signal. But the 3 patterns can be here at the south, at the northern side, and then all the way at the east at the end of the runway as well. That's like the worst pattern because it's the longest one to trigger, basically. So here, just keep your distance. You have to wait for them to stop anyway. Eventually they'll stop and we can just get off and kill them. There you go. They all get out and you can just chill here and kill all of them. It's kind of dark, so I can't really see very well, but so none of them are particularly a threat. This guy's just chilling over there for some reason. If you have an extra rocket here, you can use it to blow up the van. Otherwise, you can just use a satchel charge. Doesn't really matter. But then we're going to grab the limo. Say, world record contenders would grab a helicopter here in the meantime, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to drive back as normal. We're going to get a 3-star wanted level once we leave the airport, and we're going to bribe those stars away. That's the plan. Oops. Depending on where you are in the airport, you can take this overroad and ramp off here as well. It depends on your position. It might be faster to go one way than the other. But either way, we're going to head straight here, then go under the highway. There's a bribe star here. You might have seen it when we were doing Jizzy and stuff earlier. That takes us down to 2 stars. And then we only need 1 more bribe, because once we get a 1-star wanted level, as you might know in GTA, it'll eventually go away on its own as long as we don't commit any crimes. So we're going to head up here. We're going to go north, 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 skip past the pay and spray. And there are bribe stars nearby. There's one on this road, actually. But it's slightly in an inconvenient place. And we don't need to lose our wanted level right away. You can see the bribe stars there, but it's kind of difficult to get to, especially with a limo. There's a much more convenient one up to the north. And as I say, we need to drive back to the Pleasure Dome anyway. So losing our wanted level here, we'd still have to drive back the same. So it doesn't matter when you lose your wanted level, as long as you lose it before you get to the Pleasure Domes, you don't lose any time. So instead of going left here, which would technically be the most convenient way, we're going to go right. And then inside that alleyway there, if you would just excuse my shit driving, inside that alleyway, there's a bribe. Try not to run over anyone, because you don't want to gain too much police attention. We need to be getting rid of it, not gaining it. Especially here, once you come out, make sure you don't run anyone over. Because we want this wanted level to go away, and if we start committing crimes like running people over, it will stay for longer, and we'll be sat at the Pleasure Domes like an idiot waiting for it to expire. But all goes well, if you don't kill anyone, it should expire pretty much any second once you get back. And we'll just wait. Perfect. Right there.
Johnson, you did good today.
Man, now shake the spot. We got shit to talk about.
You can switch here if you want. The limo's kind of shit, and we need to be driving back to Woozy's place. So you can always switch back to the Premier or try and get something better. It's up to you. But Premier's going to be there. Nice and consistent, decent vehicle. Try not to flip it like an idiot like me. I just can't help myself. I need to be a shit driver as much as possible. It might even be worth it to death warp here to get a faster car, but I'm honestly not sure. It really doesn't make that much of a difference because obviously we're right there anyway next to KE, so I don't think it matters. It's probably about the same in terms of speed, and it's extra resources that, you know, you want to keep as many as possible in case things go wrong. So I wouldn't recommend it, but maybe someone will say in the comments like, oh, it's actually a little bit faster. Either way, another terrible mission coming up. The phone call, we'll take it. That should be our last mandatory phone call for San Fierro. There's 3 total. There's a 0 call, which unlocks his asset to be purchased. There is the Woozy call, which we discussed before, to unlock his missions. And then there is the Jethro call, which unlocks driving school. Driving school is not mandatory, but you need to answer the call at some point in order to... because otherwise it'll like block phone calls later on. Well, it'll take priority over the phone calls later on. That's brilliant. Fucking Saber pulling right in front of me. So here we need to head to the eastern side. It might look like it might be more convenient to drive directly south, but we need to head across a bridge. There is a really cool jump that you can do if you're an absolute legend that will send this all the way across a gap that I'll show you in a second, and it skips having to actually take the bridge that we're going to take. So it's a little inconvenient to take the bridge, but it is risky and it only saves like a couple of seconds. So again, I wouldn't recommend it if you're a beginner. I would recommend just being nice and safe, taking the eastern path, driving around and taking the bridge. So here, as I say, our destination is right there. The jump would send you across this gap that I'm going to show you in just a moment. But instead, we have to go east, which is a slight detour to get the bridge over the river. Yeah, the jump would send you all the way from here, straight across, and clear this river that we're just driving over now. It's a really cool strat, but to say, you need a lot of speed and you need to practice it hard. So you can go for it if you want to, but more of an advanced strategy, I would say. Not worth the risk, in my opinion, as a beginner. So here it might think like you want to cut straight through here, but there's a building blocking you, so you want to go south instead and cut through the actual town. We'll cut through this way. To say, if you go on the northern side, it's great, but then you have to drive all the way around the building anyway, because you see there's all this blocking you. So here, this is a nothing burger of a mission. There's 2 bikes that are chasing you, and it's like, oh, if you damage the doors too much, you'll fail the mission because they'll be able to see in. Never once in my entire life have I ever had that happen, even with my atrocious driving. So basically, just drive through the checkpoints and the mission passes after a couple of minutes. It's a really boring mission. Apologies, San Fierro has a lot of boring missions, hence why any percent skips them all. But yeah, there isn't really too much to it. The only important thing to remember is a couple of sections. Like for example here, when you go over this bridge, just be careful because this is a really steep bit here, like that. And if you floor over it full power, you might flip, especially in rain. So just keep that in mind. These guys do a lot of damage. As you see, I'm on like half health now, which is not ideal, but trust me when I say you will lose them eventually. Rain definitely doesn't make it any better here. It makes it, like, you know, more annoying to drive, and I can't see anything because it's a fucking thunderstorm as well. But yeah, you will lose them eventually, so don't worry too much about it. If you want to be safe, you can drive a little erratically to get them to like hit trees and stuff, but it's unnecessary and it might just make you flip the car, and if you flip the car, you lose 5 minutes just like that. So yeah, I would err on the side of caution, basically. I don't know how I didn't hit that fucking marker. For some reason, it is really particular, that one, where you just, like, have to be, you know, pixel perfect on it, while the other ones you can be a little bit off. No clue why. Maybe an intern made it, I don't know. Thankfully, once you're back on the road, you're getting towards the end now. It's a shame that as soon as it becomes, like, nice to drive, you're already at the end of the mission, but it is what it is. And now we're going to be all the way back at Angel Pine again with needing to get all the way back to San Fierro to actually do a mission. So we're going to have to drive all the way back. Luckily, we can switch out this shitty rancher for the bike that we were taking during Badlands, right at Angel Pine next to the save point. And we can take that back to San Fierro. It's a bit faster than driving the rancher back. What a great mission, Rockstar. There you can save the game if you wish, but it's not always necessary. I'm going to switch to the bike. And then we're going to go straight back, just like we did at the end of, what's it called? At the end of Photo Opportunity, we're basically in the same place. Just going to hit. Back to San Fierro, same way as before. Whoops. I don't know why I went this way instead of going through and cutting through like normal, but it doesn't really matter as long as we're going in the right general direction. Do as I say, not as I do, you know, the classic. So here, we're not going to store this bike, but you can make a save if you want to, because this strategy might take a couple of tries if you're new with it. But we're basically going to skip this entire mission, so even if it is a little tricky, I would recommend learning it nonetheless. So we'll make a safety save, and then we're going to get on the bike, and we're going to do the same as what we did for Doberman, basically, where we're going to park in the marker, get out, and as the mission starts, we're going to get back on again. Here we go. It should, like, put you not necessarily on the bike, but at least not despawn the bike. That's the most important bit. If you do despawn the bike, it's not a big deal. Just grab anything nearby, because we're not going far. This is just to save a bit of time. Rather than taking a car, we can take a bike down here and trigger this next section. But it's literally like a 5-second drive. So, as I say, if you lose the bike, it doesn't make a difference. Just grab anything. The important part is what's coming up. This is what saves like 5 minutes. So usually here you have to escort a van to a lot of different destinations. There's a lot of roadblocks that stop you. And you need to like destroy them all one by one. It takes a lot of resources and it takes a lot of time. But we're going to skip it by doing this. So we're going to park up here. We're not going to drive straight into the marker. We're just going to park it like nearby so that we can enter the marker in a second. I'm going to pick up the rockets and the sniper rifle. I'm going to switch to my camera. This is the reference that I use. There's a load of different references. You can find one that works for you, but this is the one that works for me, so I'm going to show you it. Hop on the bike. Hop off the bike. Don't move. Right-click aim at the camera and aim at... You see this like little... This little thing here, the little scuff on the wall? Aim at that. Let go. Press Q to switch to your satchel charges. Or scroll up on the mouse wheel if you want to. Hold and fully charge a satchel charge throw like that. Go to the detonator. Go to the car. When you detonate, it should be on fire, but it shouldn't explode. Like this. Head in, immediately go into the marker, and that puts out the fire. That's the most important bit. That's the hard part done. Now, this guy, as soon as you get into the van, which is like almost dead, as you can see, he's going to try and hijack it back off you. So what we're going to do is the door can sometimes be, like, the van is locked. So if the door isn't fully open, you can't fully access it. So all you need to do is run into it like this, and you can push the door to be open, as you can see. Gonna push the door to be open. As soon as you get in, he isn't actually doing it this time, but sometimes... Oh, it's because I'm not on the bike, that's why. So, let me, hold on. So, you want to get on the bike to trigger this next sequence. You don't want to get in the van, excuse me. So you come in, you go into the marker, blah, blah, blah. You can push it so the door's open. Then you get on the bike, and then it triggers the section. That's the bit that I missed. So then you see here, I'm aiming at him, and that stops him from running into the van. Because if he throws you out the van, it'll lock the door behind him, and then we can't use it, okay? So if you did what I did, and you were in the van, and you needed to get out to get onto the bike, what you want to do is you want to press F and then hold W as you get out, and that will stop CJ from closing the door. If the door closes fully, you are locked out of the van, and you will need to load the save because you can't, like, unlock it again. But yeah, that's the most important part. Just don't lock yourself out of the van. It may look like it has really low health, but this van is actually collision proof. So if you crash, it doesn't make a difference. The only important thing is that you don't, like, blow it up by mistake. But as you can see, I can hit this wall and I'll be fine. Just to demonstrate. I'm not going to set on fire, as you can see. I didn't take any damage. So just to make sure you don't, like, shoot it or blow it up. But yeah, so this skips the whole thing, because we can just take the van right to its destination, and as soon as you drive in here, mission passed.
Okay, we made it. Over the spot, real.
Here you get a wanted level. Ideally you get a bike. I didn't, but it is what it is. There was a convenient one, but it drove away. You can just grab a police car, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're only going around the corner to save the game to get rid of our wanted level anyway, so even if you have to fucking run, who cares? We're literally just going here, so. Save the game to get rid of the wanted level. You don't want to do this next mission with 3 stars, I assure you. Watch out for the shotguns. In hell, classic San Andreas. They lock themselves out of their own car. Great job, guys. Snail trail time. This mission is basically one big auto-scroller, but we can use our time during the auto-scroller to do the rest of the swimming that we needed to do, which is pretty ideal. Now go ahead, and we can also skip a big chunk of this mission as well. Here you need to be fast, so again, watch this before you do it. Get off, grab the sniper rifle, if I could pick it up. Thank you. Then immediately head towards the train here that pulls up, and you can actually enter the train yourself and skip this whole section. So go here, get in, and if you get on the train in time before it goes away, you can press W. And just like that, you're all the way in LS along with the reporter. So now we're on a timer until the reporter gets off the train, finds a cab, and starts driving away. We need to get the rest of our swimming done. So run out and grab a car. Doesn't matter what, just grab anything. And we're really conveniently next to where the management issues mission took place. The little water bit down here. So we can use this section to do the rest of our swimming, which is ideal. So get out of your car, head down here, throw yourself into the ocean, and start swimming. Again, the easiest way is to just swim down, and then just let yourself float up like this to spend as much time in the water. Don't swim around, there's no point. We're going to be saving after this mission, so again, you can use your health as a resource to swim a bit longer. And as soon as you grab that second lung capacity upgrade, get out, get back in your car, and go and do the mission. So if you spend too long here, the taxi driver will drive away with your target, and you'll fail the mission for being too far away. Got the lung capacity one, perfect. Let's go. Once we're done with this mission, you're going to be driving back to San Fierro from LS. So the faster car you have, or bike, or whatever, the better. So if you see something better, like a cop car or a buffalo or whatever, I'd recommend switching to it. Just be careful with the police. There was 3 police cars there, which is why I didn't choose to switch. Because I didn't want to potentially, get a million wanted levels. But while you're doing the chase, you can look out for a better vehicle. That bike was good, but it was going the wrong way, and I didn't want to risk it. But you have plenty of time here, as you can see, while you're just waiting for this guy to drive around. There's salt in here, which is much better, so I'm going to switch to that. Even if you get too far away, as long as you're looking at the taxi, you won't fail the mission. So you can just do this, and even though it says I'm too far away, we can catch up easily just by keeping him on camera. And we got a nice vehicle here. The only thing I'll switch this out for is a bike, because the bikes are way better. Hey, look at that. Right on cue. They managed to absolutely swerve me. I'm not going to switch to it. It's not that big of an upgrade, especially because it was a BF. You know, if it was something way better, I'd consider chasing after it, but... And a lot of police. Just take what you can get. If you've got a Sultan or a fast car, it's more than good enough. Make sure you don't get too close. Aside from that, there isn't really too much to this mission. The path that he takes is random, so you can lose time here due to, you know, something that's completely out of your control. Welcome to San Andreas speedrunning. That will happen a lot. If it bothers you, this isn't the game for you. As you can see, sometimes he just drives like a fucking idiot. Like, he's driving like me, basically, and that's losing me time as well. Every time he gets stuck, that's a time loss. Yeah, if you want to skip ahead to the bit where we kill the two guys at the pier, and I'll talk you through the final bit of this mission. So once they start approaching their destination, you can head here and knock this fence down. This is the direction that we're going to be going. Prep that ahead of time. Pull out your sniper rifle, and it's going to be two guys. It's very important the order that you shoot them in. You're going to be shooting the guy on the left first. So if you shoot the guy on the right first, the guy on the left runs around the back of this boulevard and runs away from you. Whereas if you kill the guy on the left first, the guy on the right runs towards you. So kill this guy. As you see, this guy runs towards you in a straight line, so he's an easy kill, even though you've aggroed him. Otherwise, you'd have to sprint and go and chase this guy down, which is really annoying. Head over here. Try not to flip. You can easily, but you can just grab another car from the parking lot or whatever if you do. Not a big deal. And now we're driving all the way back to the San Fierro garage. If you know where you're going, feel free to skip ahead. But I'll show you the route. We're going to be going up past trucking and following it all the way around. There is a way to get an NRG here, but it's kind of inconsistent. So what I'll do is I'll show you the idea, and I'll also show you the backup in case you don't get it. Oops, I went a bit too far there. Again, excuse my terrible driving. Yeah, there's an inconsistent fast way to get an NRG, which is the really fast bike, and there's a slightly slower but consistent way, and I'll show you both so that you always have an NRG for this next mission, because we're going to be using it for like the rest of this segment, and also the next segment we're going to be using it in desert as well. So it's important that you get one, because it'll save quite a lot of time. We're going to be using it in like 4 different missions. So head to this tunnel. We're going to be driving straight down as fast as we can, and we're going to be ramping over into the airport. It sounds scary, but it's not, trust me. The way that people try and consistently get it is they look backwards and forwards as they hit it. Some people just hold backwards. It's entirely up to you. I've had mixed success with everything. It doesn't really work. But the NRG should be here, exactly where it is. There are ways that you can try and get it spawned by driving back and forth, but again, like, I've never had it consistently spawned for me, no matter what I've tried. I've asked all sorts of people. Maybe there is a way, but I'm not currently aware of it. Instead, what we want to do is we want to do this jump. If you have the NRG, do it anyway, but you can do it with a fast car as well. Hop into here and hop into the docks. If you got the NRG early, then great. Just head straight towards the garage. You know what to do. Start the mission. But if you don't have it, then instead head to the docks, and there is the consistent NRG spawn right here. This will always be here no matter what, which is really nice. Don't know why I parked in such a weird position, but it doesn't matter. When you get on it, you'll start the NRG challenge. It doesn't matter. Just let it fail. The important thing is that we've got the bike. And now either way, whichever way you got the bike, head towards the garage nonetheless. If you're going this way, it makes sense. You can get armor here if you want to be safe. Unnecessary, but say if you want to be safe, you can grab it. But we're going to be grabbing armor in the mission after this one anyway. Completely up to you. And we just want to be heading up to the section up here. Again, go slow here because you can fall off if you hit the... Right on cue. If you hit the wall apparently too hard. I was going to say the stairs, but the wall also counts. And then we need to be between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. for this mission. So... I didn't mean to get back on there, that's my bad. We need to save until 8 p.m. So 2 saves. Again, that's why the health doesn't matter because you're going to likely be saving here anyway. So here we're going to be skipping the entire chase with Jizzy. I'll show you how to do that in just a second, but first we need to get there. I would recommend saving the game regardless, even if you're on time and you have to save 4 times to get on time again. Because the more safety you have, the better in these kind of long and difficult runs. I'm going to head west here. Cut through to the north. And head west again. Cut through the trees here. And so what we want to do is we want to blow up Jizzy's car quickly. But if we blow it up with him inside, it'll destroy the phone, which we need, and that's going to fail the mission. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to shoot his vehicle 6 times. Exactly 6. Any more is not good. 5, 6. We're not going to go to the front. There's no point. We're instead going to go up here. Going to keep our SMG equipped because we want to shoot his vehicle to set it on fire from low health, which is what we're setting up to do now. And if you shoot it, he'll dive out, and then we can blow it up, which is perfect. So we're going to head in here, immediately jump to the left, and trigger the next section. You don't have to do the stealth section. You can skip that whole thing as well. Run to the right here. Trigger the door. As soon as you gain control, shoot Jizzy's car. Watch the gas tank. It's in the back of the car, so shoot it like slightly off. Like this. He's going to get out, and then we're going to rocket the car, which will hopefully... The idea is that it will blow up. He'll take damage from the explosion of the rocket and the car. It didn't happen. That can happen sometimes. But if you like struggle like I did, then you can just shoot him down. It doesn't make a difference. It'll lose like 2 seconds. But the idea is that he dies right away. As long as he doesn't die inside the vehicle, that's the most important part. Now, we're on a somewhat strict time limit. Not super strict, but we need to get to the next mission before 6 o'clock, with it's also from 8 p.m. till 6 a.m. So we need to make sure that we start this mission quickly. This is why we do it in this order, because we need to start both these missions. Also, make sure you have your lung capacity upgrade, because you'll need it now. Otherwise, you won't be able to start this mission. Another good backup time to swim, if you haven't already, or you didn't have enough time during Snail Trail, or whatever. What the fuck is that car, by the way? Just completely fucking me up like that. Anyway. Classic San Andreas traffic. Right after you pass Ice Cold Killer, you're right next to a body of water, right, towards the north, so you can swim there to get the rest of your lung capacity, should you need it. But either way, ideally you're here before 6 o'clock. If not, just go and save at the garage again. It's not a big deal. Take the NRG. We're going to head back north. There's a number of cool little skips you can do in this mission as well to make it much easier, which I'll show you. First, we're just going to head north, and we're going to head down just a little windy road here towards the northeast. Let's cut through to the docks. Right here. Just careful when going down because it's quite steep, so as you can see, you're going to lose control of your bike pretty easily if you're not careful. Park your bike a little far away. You don't want it to despawn, so park it like here. Trigger the section where you jump and do the swimming bit. We're going to trigger this marker, but then we're not going to go any further. We're going to turn around. We're going to get onto this rock. This is one of the cool little skips I was talking about. Go right on the end. Try not to fall off. This is a little tricky to line up, so especially with CJ's fucking ass controls. And then don't sprint jump. Just regularly jump across to here. That's the idea. I was too far on the edge there, so I couldn't do it. If you're too far left, you'll grab onto this rock, and if you're too far right, you'll miss it. So it'll take a bit of doing. It's quite precise. But the hope is that you're able to jump and skip and get back onto your bike is ideal. You can also use the aiming to line up as well. Might be a bit easier. It's up to you. That should have worked fine. I don't know why CJ grabbed the fucking rock. It is what it is. You want to be right on the edge. It's always when I'm recording that I struggle with this so much. You know, usually it only takes me like 1 or 2 tries. But alas. There we go. That's what you want. Then you can hop over this way. Jump. Don't worry about that marker. Jump across here. Then run up the rocks. It's a little tricky to run up, so make sure you don't go too fast and run off. But now we can grab our bike. And we can take a boat. Rather than swimming all the way across, we can take a boat. I'm going to send my bike all the way down here. That's because we're going to be finishing the mission over there, so we want the bike to be there as well. You can grab the armor if you didn't grab it earlier, or grab it again. It's up to you. Top it up. And I'm going to grab the dinghy. And we're going to drive over there. Way faster than swimming, trust me, even if the strat takes you a couple of tries. Practice makes perfect. I don't really run this game super often. That's my excuse as to why I'm so bad at it. Same with the dinghy. We're going to send this off a bit further down, because when we jump off the boat, we're going to be jumping off that side. So we're going to send it down there. And then we're going to head on here. It's important that you land in the water to trigger the next section here. And then we're going to run up the boat, and as you see, all the markers will spawn and the text will appear. That means you've triggered the next section again. Now, we just need to kill everyone. You can sprint and headshot them all. You won't be able to plant the bug or whatever it is that you have to plant unless everybody's dead. So it's important that you don't just run past everyone. Usually a guy down here as well, and there might be one more waiting for me here. There is. Perfect. Then press. It says return, but you can press F as well. A bit easier to press than enter. And then we're going to jump off, and hopefully your dinghy is around here somewhere. It is. Perfect. And then we can use the dinghy once again to just drive away. Is ideal. Watch out for these guys with AKs. I parked a bit close to them. You can park a bit further south, but it doesn't really matter. It's all good. That's what you got the armor for. Take the extra bit of damage. Then we can jump here. If you're an absolute legend, you can jump straight from the boat straight across without landing on the ocean. So here is a yay call. It is very important. This is something that we haven't discussed yet because I haven't got one yet. These calls, when this one is fine, it doesn't make a difference. But when you get another call from Caesar, potentially in San Fierro, that gives you an option to basically do yes or no, do we want to go and do the yay stuff, and you'll get a marker on the map, as you can see. These calls are extremely bugged. They can brick your save and make the save markers disappear for the rest of your playthrough if you're not careful. And the way that works is if you don't cancel it before you go into the next main story mission, that can happen. So what I would recommend is that if you get a yay call and you get a marker on the map for Smoke's yay, I would recommend, instead of starting the next submission, I would instead find a taxi or a police car or anything, activate taxi driver, and then cancel it. And as you can see, it failed the what's it called, like the yay mission. That will fix any potential softlocks or brick saves that you have. So yeah, so here before I start PS69, found a taxi or a cop car or whatever, and yeah, start a submission to get rid of the yay stuff, because otherwise, you start the next mission, your save markers might disappear for the rest of the playthrough, which is really bad because for runs you're going to need them, and if your game crashes, that's it, it's over, no saves. So here for the next mission, you want to park your bike here, because anywhere closer will despawn it, and you want it for later. Use your sniper rifle. Kill this guy. This guy.
Shit, they walked
I
right
missed.
into it.
These guys.
One of those triad boys is down. Hey, there's still some on the left, CJ.
They're all dead. Then we need to go and kill T-Bone. We're gonna go and grab our bike. We don't need Caesar with us. He'll try and get us to catch up, but doesn't need to. We can just go without him. And we just cut all the way around this big fight and run T-Bone over here. He can sometimes pop your tires, which is annoying. If he does, you can just shoot him. He is very weak, but ideally you run him over. And then when Ryder spawns in, go here, sniper rifle, 2 bullets, and he'll die before he even gets to his boat. You can see his death animation there. Mission passed. Getting a pop tire here is annoying. A front one is okay. A back tire is, I would recommend switching vehicles at that point. Either way, we're going to deposit this NRG in the garage. So if you do get a pop back tire, actually what I would recommend is shooting the front tire as well to pop both of them. It sounds silly, but it actually makes it easier to drive. And then we're gonna go and store it in the garage, and that will repair its tires either way. So, yeah. But if you do find like a PCJ or something, it might be worth switching to it. I'll leave it to your discretion. I'm not an expert. So store the NRG. We're going to be using this in the next segment in Desert later. And grab this Sanchez that you put here. The Sanchez is for this mission here. Because we want a bike. We're also going to be taking a bit of damage, so can save the game. Get a bit of health back. You see my save markers have not despawned, thankfully.
Hey, Woody, what's the business?
My fucking bike despawned. That's very epic. If that happens, it's not a big deal. I'll show you the backup. Just grab anything. We're not going particularly far. The only reason that you want a bike here is because you want to fix the accuracy bug. Because otherwise you'll get melted trying to do this lineup that I'm about to do. But what you can do is there's actually an FCR parked where you're intended to use it to chase the helicopter. You can get on and off that FCR. And that will allow you to reset their accuracy either way. So it's good. Again, it's good that this happened because I can show you the backup. But ideally, you just have a bike here. Classic flip stalker doing front flips and shit. I'm just going to fucking get out. This car's garbage. So if you have a bike, ideal, just bring it here. If not, just get on and off here. And that will fix their accuracy so they won't absolutely demolish you. Stand here. And then we're going to do a nice little quick kill on this helicopter. I'm going to stake one step to the right so I don't hit a weird hitbox and blow myself up. I'm going to switch to the rocket launcher. I'm going to line up like this, and as soon as he turns the corner, I'm going to fire 3 rockets. And if all goes well, you'll hear the explosion of the helicopter, which is perfect. You don't need to worry about those weapons, it doesn't matter, you're not going to use them anyway. Blow him up, skip the entire chase segment, which is ideal. And then we're going to go and do Da Nang Thang, which is where we lose all of our weapons anyway, so it's why it doesn't matter if you pick up the rockets or not. Second to last mission of San Fierro. Ideal, because my voice is getting wrecked from talking so much. Light doesn't matter anymore, you're not going to use it. So this mission, depending on your health total, can be risky or safe. I'll show you where all the health pickups and stuff are on the way. Obviously, if you have full health and armor, you can just run past everybody. But I'll show you the safe ways regardless, so that if you do have low health, like my health is a little bit sketchy, then you can do the safe way. This is an auto-scroller, but I'd recommend killing all these guys anyway, because anybody that you don't kill will be on the ship later on and could potentially, you know, shoot you and kill you. So it's best to kill everybody because then there's just less targets to kill you later on. This guy is invincible, it's a scripted sequence. As soon as you go into the cutscene, you can skip it. And now we've lost all the weapons except a knife. This first guy is going to have a shotgun, so I would very much recommend stealth killing him. Because if you try and fight him, he'll just fuck you up. So, crouch. Go here, stealth kill, just like you did in Mad Dog's Rhymes. You can grab his gun if you want, but it's not super necessary. Climb up. There's going to be a guy on our right with an SMG. He's who we want. Say, you can just run here and run past everybody, but I've got kind of low health, so I'm going to take it easy. I stealth killed this guy, and now we've got a proper gun that we can run and gun with. Now we can stop stealth killing everybody. So grab his gun. Go here. Kill this guy. There's going to be a couple of guys that spawn over here. Again, you can run past them, but I'm going to be safe and kill them.
I'll be honest, I ain't got a license.
You can do a cool little jump here. If you stand here and jump at the last possible second with a sprint jump, you can actually head all the way across like this without having to climb up again, which is cool. There's going to be a guy here. Again, you can run past all these guys, and there's going to be health here. I would recommend picking it up if you're on low health. Once you've grabbed that health and you're good here, you can run through all these guys. I would never recommend killing these guys unless you're on really low health, but it's going to be unlikely. You don't take any damage from that fall, so don't worry. Even if you're low health, it's scripted to not damage you. And then again, you can keep running, but I'd recommend if you're a beginner and you're playing safe, hopping over here, because there is armor and an SMG that you can grab. And then you can run through. With armor and a bit of health, you've got more than enough. But if you just had health, probably worth killing a few guys. Keep running past this guy. This guy throws a grenade, but obviously if you keep running, you can just run right through it. And then you need to kill him to trigger the next section. Kill the lock, or like shoot the lock. It's not a thing that can die, but you get the idea. And then you can just run through again. You'll usually run out of sprint around here, so if you're taking a bit too much damage, you can kill guys or jump through. It's up to you, but I'm good. I've got plenty of health. It says leave no one alive on the bridge. Obviously down here doesn't matter, but you need to kill a certain amount of people upstairs that I'll show you. Well, it's one guy. So here, I'm going to climb up again. This way. Kill this dude. Again, not technically mandatory, but he's right there. Why not? Kill these two guys. And then this guy is going to force you into a 1v1 katana fight, but they didn't lock your weapon. So you can just go, lol. Just fucking one-tap him. Use the SMG, shotgun, whatever, it doesn't matter. But now it's mission done. All we need to do is go to the final section, which is just down here. Mission passed.
Thank you for everything.
Now we're in the middle of nowhere, and we don't have any guns anyway, so even if we didn't have KT, we would death warp, but we do have KT, so we can even keep our weapons. Here I'm going to set this thing on fire. See, it's on fire now, then I'm going to get in, because that will kill me no matter my health total. Otherwise, I would survive this explosion. Play replay to get a nice fast car, hopefully. I'm going to spawn at Katie's house again one final time. Try and get something that's a bit better than... There we go. A bit better than a taxi. Buffalo is ideal. Bike is also good, but whatever. Now, final mission. We're just going to drive back to the garage. Same route as always. Straight east here. Cut across the green around the corner. Straight south and you'll be there. Feel free to skip ahead. You already know what you're doing.
Thanks, dude.
Jesus.
Thanks a lot.
Was trying to turn right there, but just got like no good opportunity to do so, and then just got rammed the opposite way. I think regarding that bike despawn on Torino's last flight, it was just because I parked it in the despawn zone. I guess it was bigger than I thought. So if you're a beginner, just park a bit further away, or maybe like, you know, a bit further north, because I like parked right in front of where CJ was gonna spawn. I honestly didn't think the range was that big, but apparently it is. So. Yeah, for this, we're just going to be going, it's better to go this way, actually. Cut through this way, go here. You know the same route that you did for Torino's last flight. It's difficult to talk and play at the same time, but you end up here, and you just head straight north. Again, a couple of my routes have been inefficient, because as I say, it's difficult to remember all the strats, talk about it, and also remember driving routes, but the important thing is that you get there in a somewhat efficient manner. Skip this cutscene straight away. This mission is very trivial, so don't worry about it being like a super difficult one towards the end or anything. Heading back past the garage, we need to kill some guys at a gate, and we kill some guys out front, so they're like, this trained killer who just annihilated our teammates, let's let him into the garage, what could possibly go wrong? GTA logic at its finest. Easy way to infiltrate the base that we need to do, just run these guys over.
Hey, some local bastard is blasting on our homeboys. Get out there and kill the fool.
can avoid these guys, you don't have to kill them. The only important bit is that we get inside and plant the bomb, the car bomb that we have. Don't hit this ramp too hard because you'll hit the wall in front of you, or like the shutter or whatever it is, the gate, door, whatever. Head through here, go here, left click to activate the bomb. There are a bunch of guys shooting you, but you can just run through them, especially with full health. The only guy that I'd recommend killing is the guy at the end here, because he will block you. I got absolutely fucking smoked there, holy shit. Usually you don't take nearly that amount of damage. But again, this is fine because I can show you the safe strats. Usually you can just run through these guys, but there's 3 dudes here. I'd recommend killing them if you're on extremely low health like I am. Oh. Because you want to make sure that you have enough health to jump over and take a bit of damage here. Instead of doing the bit where they lock you in and skip that whole sequence, we're just going to go here and jump over. And then just grab any car, doesn't matter. We just need to drive back to the garage. Any vehicle, if I can just get one. This was very slow, this wasn't worth it. I should have hijacked him, but I thought he'd get off the bike a bit earlier. Whatever. Almost died. Hit this marker and you're done with San Fierro. Congratulations. So, next up is going to be Desert for part 4. Thank you all for joining. Sorry, this one was a bit chaotic because San Fierro is very different. There's a lot of different mission routes and stuff that you can do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one for Desert part 4. See you soon.